Never mess with a mother's instinct, because sometimes what looks like a parking violation could destroy someone's world in seconds. It was one of those calm suburban mornings where everything felt quiet and routine. The air was soft, the sky clear, and I was just heading back home after a quick grocery stop. My 6-month-old baby had finally fallen asleep in the front car seat, wrapped in a tiny blue blanket, his pacifier still in his mouth. I parked on the side of our neighborhood street, the one spot right across from the so-called HOA cop lady, Karen. Everyone in the neighborhood knew her. She wasn't an actual cop, but she wore a fake security badge, carried a flashlight on her belt, and acted like she ran the entire block. People whispered about her temper, but no one ever stood up to her. Until that day, I didn't think a simple 2-minute stop could turn into a full-blown nightmare. I had one grocery bag in my hand and was just reaching for my keys when Karen came storming out of her house like a siren going off. "Excuse me, you can't park there," she yelled, pointing at my car as if I had committed a crime. I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. "Ma'am, I just came from the store." "My baby's sleeping. I'll be gone in 2 minutes." She folded her arms with that smug HOA look. "Rules are rules. We've talked about this. You people think you can do whatever you want." You people. I hated how she said that, like we were invaders in her perfect little neighborhood. I looked through the windshield at my baby, still sleeping peacefully. I just wanted to avoid drama, but Karen wasn't going anywhere. She walked closer, her voice rising with every word. "I've warned you before. You're blocking community access." I tried to reason with her. "Karen, please, I'm not even near your driveway." But before I could finish, she lifted her hand and slammed her palm on my windshield. The sound was so loud it made my heart jump. My baby twitched in his seat. "Stop it!" I shouted. But Karen didn't stop. She picked up the wiper arm and yanked it hard, and then it happened. She brought it down with full force. Crack! The glass shattered instantly. Tiny shards scattered across the dash, and my baby woke up screaming. My body froze, and then pure panic took over. "My baby's inside!" I screamed, running forward. For the first time, Karen's face showed something. Shock. She stepped back, eyes wide, realizing what she had done. The neighbors started peeking out their windows. One man from across the street, Tom, came running with his phone out, already recording. Karen tried to speak, but her voice trembled. I didn't know," but it was too late. The sound of a baby crying and the shattered glass told everyone exactly what had happened. Tom shouted, "You broke her windshield with a baby inside. Are you insane?" Karen looked around helplessly, her self-righteousness collapsing under the weight of what she'd done. She tried to defend herself. "She was parked illegally. I was enforcing the rules. You're not even a real cop." Someone yelled from down the street. That's when reality hit her, hard. She clutched her fake badge, suddenly aware that everyone was filming, everyone watching. My hands were shaking as I reached into the car, checking my baby for cuts. He was safe, terrified but safe. Tears blurred my vision as anger filled every part of me. I turned to Karen and said, "You could have killed him." She stood frozen, her lips trembling but no words coming out. Within minutes, the wail of sirens echoed through the neighborhood. Someone had already called the sheriff. Karen looked like she wanted to vanish. Her fake authority, her power trips, they meant nothing now. The whole street was gathering, phones up, recording her humiliation. When the sheriff's car pulled up, Karen tried to straighten herself up, pretending to be calm. But her voice cracked when she said, "Officer, it was just a misunderstanding." The deputy sheriff looked at her, then at my shattered windshield, then at the crying baby in my arms. His expression turned cold. "Ma'am, put your hands where I can see them." Karen froze as the real sheriff stepped out of the cruiser, his boots crunching on the glass that littered the driveway. The neighbors stood back, silent, their phones still recording every second. The sheriff's tone was calm but sharp, the kind that made everyone stop breathing for a second. "You want to explain why this child is crying next to a broken windshield?" Karen stammered, her fake badge glinting in the sunlight as she tried to hide it behind her jacket. "I'm part of the HOA enforcement team," she said quickly. "This woman was parked illegally and I was—" The sheriff interrupted. "You're not law enforcement, ma'am. That badge looks fake as hell." He reached out, took it from her trembling hand, turned it over, and sighed. This isn't even close to regulation. You've got 5 minutes to tell me what really happened before this turns into impersonation charges. Karen started to cry, shaking her head. I didn't mean to break anything. I was just trying to keep order in the neighborhood. The sheriff's expression hardened. You hit a vehicle with a child inside. That's not order. That's assault and child endangerment. He turned to me. Ma'am, are you and your baby okay? My voice was still shaking. He's okay, just terrified. I told her he was sleeping, but she didn't listen. My baby clung to me, still crying softly, his little hands gripping my shirt like he was afraid I'd disappear. The sheriff nodded slowly. We'll take it from here. He called another unit for backup, and within minutes, a second patrol car arrived. The sight of flashing lights drew more people from their homes. The entire neighborhood stood at a distance, whispering, recording, watching Karen face the consequences she'd avoided for years. One neighbor, Mrs. Lopez, muttered, "She finally got caught. About time." Karen tried one last attempt to save herself. You don't understand. This community's gone downhill because of people like her. I was trying to keep it safe. The sheriff glared at her. Safe? You smashed a mother's windshield while her baby was inside. You're lucky you didn't seriously hurt someone. He turned to his deputy. Cuff her! The sound of the handcuffs clicking shut was louder than anything else. Karen's voice broke as she said, Please, I didn't mean it! But no one believed her anymore. The same neighbors she used to boss around now stood with their arms crossed, watching her taken away. Tom, the guy who filmed the whole thing, walked over to me. Hey, I got the entire thing on camera, he said. If you need this for court, I'll send it to you. I thanked him through tears. It felt like justice, but also like a bad dream. My car's windshield was shattered, my baby was shaken, and I couldn't believe it had all happened in broad daylight, over nothing. The sheriff came back to me once Karen was in the back of the patrol car. She'll be charged for property damage, impersonating an officer, and child endangerment. We'll also contact the HOA to make sure this never happens again. He paused for a moment, his voice softening. I'm sorry this happened to you. I nodded, holding my baby closer. Thank you, officer. I just hope no one else ever goes through this. The neighborhood buzzed with whispers as the patrol cars drove off. The moment Karen's house disappeared behind the flashing red and blue lights, it felt like the whole block could finally breathe again. People came over to check on me, offering help, water, hugs. Some even apologized for never standing up to her before. I smiled weakly, still in shock, but grateful that it was finally over. Later that evening, I sat on my porch with my husband, holding our baby while he slept peacefully again. The broken glass had been swept away, but the memory of that loud crack still echoed in my mind. My husband said quietly, You know this video's probably already online. Tom said it went viral on the neighborhood page. I sighed. Good, maybe people will finally see what fake power looks like. He smiled a little. You handled it like a champ. I looked down at my baby's sleeping face, kissed his forehead, and whispered, No one's ever going to scare you like that again. The next morning, the neighborhood was different. For the first time, there was peace. No yelling, no fake rules, no Karen standing guard. A few days later, I heard she was officially banned from the HOA board and facing community service. The sheriff had made it clear that impersonating authority would never be tolerated again. Word spread fast, and neighbors actually started talking to each other, laughing, living like a real community. One afternoon, I walked my baby in his stroller past the same spot where it all happened. The sunlight hit the road, warm and calm, and I realized something. That nightmare had changed everything for the better. People had learned, and I had found my voice. So when someone new asked about the incident, I just smiled and said, Oh, that? Just the day a fake HOA cop tried to teach me the rules and learned what real consequences look like. Sometimes karma doesn't wait years. Sometimes it arrives right on your driveway.